Yamunatiravanachare Yamunatiravanachare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihare Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhare Jaya Girivaradhare Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajanaranjana Jaya Brajanaranjana Jaya Brajanaranjana Jaya Yamunatiravanachare Jaya Kunja Vihare Yamunatiravanachare Jaya Kunja Vihare Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Jaya Sri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Advaita Gadadara Hare Kṛṣṇa 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Sri Sri Gauranitai. Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Jaya Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Guru Haribo, 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 Nitai Guru Haribo. Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Krishna Balaram ji ki, Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. This honor and privilege again for me to be here by all of your grace. and have been given this duty to perform this hour, to speak on Bhagavad-gītā, chapter 12, text 11. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Atha iti api aksha asi kartuṁ mad-yogam aśritaḥ sarva-karma-phala-tyāgaṁ tataḥ kuru yatātmavān aśakto si kartuṁ mad-yogam sarva-karma-phala-tyāgaṁ tataḥ kuru yatātmavān athaitad sarva-karma-phala-tyāgaṁ tataḥ kuru yatātmavān aśakto sarva-karma-phala-tyāgaṁ tataḥ. Ladies, athaitad sarva-karma-phala-tyāgaṁ aśakto kartum asmya-gurya-sita sarva-karma-phala-tyāgaṁ tataḥ kuru yatātmavān. Atha. Even though that this api also aśaktaḥ, unable, asi, you are kartum, to perform mad unto me yogam, in devotional service, aśritaḥ, taking refuge, sarva-karma, of all activities, phala, of the result, tyāgam, renunciation, tataḥ, then kuru, do, yatātmavān, self-situated. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, His Compound Choice, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. If, however, you are unable to walk in this consciousness of me, then try to act, giving up all result of your work, and try to do, and try to be self-situated. We can take it together. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act, giving up all result of your work, and try to be self-situated. Srila Prabhupada Purport. It may be that one is unable even to sympathize with the activities of Kṛṣṇa consciousness because of social, familial, or religious considerations, or because of some other impediments. If one attaches himself directly to the activities of Kṛṣṇa consciousness, there may be objection from family members or so many other difficulties. For one who has such a problem, it is advised that he sacrifice the accumulated result of his activities to some good cause. Such procedures are described in the Vedic scriptures. There are many descriptions of sacrifice and social. There are many descriptions of sacrifice and special functions of punya, or special work in which the result of one's previous actions may be applied. Thus, one may gradually become elevated to the state of knowledge. It is also found that when one who is not even interested in activities of Kṛṣṇa consciousness give charity to some hospital or some other social institution, he gives up the hard-earned results of his activities. That is also recommended here because by the practice of giving up the fruit of one's activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually. And in that purified stage of mind, one becomes able to understand Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Of course, Kṛṣṇa consciousness is not dependent on any other experience, because Kṛṣṇa consciousness itself can purify one's mind. But if there are impediments to accepting Kṛṣṇa consciousness, one may try to give up the result of his action. In that respect, social service, community service, national service, sacrifice for one's country, etc., may be accepted so that someday one may come to the stage of pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad-gītā 18:46, we found it is stated, Ya pravita bhuktana. If one decides to sacrifice for the supreme cause, even if he does not know that the supreme cause is Kṛṣṇa, he will come gradually to understand that Kṛṣṇa is the supreme cause by the sacrificial mentors. Umagyanantimirandyasya jananjana shulakaya shakshu minitam yena tasmai shri guruve namaha. Namam Vishnu padaya Kṛṣṇa pistaya bhutane shimanti bhaktivedanta swamitam. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Nirisisya Sunyavari Piskatyatam. Shri Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktaven. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So these we have today are the different injunctions or principles that are being given in the Shastra, Vedic literature, that help one to take shelter or come close to the process of bhakti. Kṛṣṇa is, giving different processes that will enhance one to become all close. This process is very, very important for us because, especially in this particular age, things are becoming degraded. So it's very important we take more shelter of Bhagavad-gītā. People like us who are coming from a different region of the world, we see that there is a lot of importance, that we get from Bhagavad if we take shelter of Bhagavad-gītā in particular. Especially this topic that we have before us this morning, giving different perspective, on how we can come close to the process of devotional practice. The understanding of this sloka is very simple. It's just like many of the ladies here, they may have children, generally, if a child is not doing properly, you employ some intuition. But Kali Yoga, the intuition is different. From that intuition now, he or she can be brushed to face the reality of life, or to face the reality of, the choosing career, whatever topic or exam he or she wants to take. So this process that is being given is a process that is more like intuition for us to come to the real process of devotional service, which is aśakto, athaitad, yata. But here we see something Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the purport. It may be that one is unable even to sympathize with the activities of Kṛṣṇa conscious because of social, familial, or religious consideration, or because of some impediments. I will just give a little example of myself regarding to this first line of Srila Prabhupada. Generally, Bhagavad-gītā tells us that those in knowledge, they do not lament for the living or the dead. They don't lament for whether you are dying. These are injunctions of the scripture. Bhagavad-gītā says, because of knowledge, you don't lament for things that are very ephemeral. So, in the early days of my devotional practice, because I come to understand this process of devotion or Srila Prabhupada ISKCON movement when I was still undergraduate. So, devotee has come to preach in my university, so I was so fascinated with their talk, so I decided to go along with them to their temple. So I visit their temple, I get a lot of encouragement, a lot of inspiration. So I thought this was really good for me to hang on with. So after that day, because I was staying in the campus, every weekend I will go to the house and associate with my family. But this weekend, when I go to my home, my family actually noticed that there was some little changes in me. Because we are all born, in a Christian background, and we eat all these many things, So then only 1 week, so I was seeing many different. So first of all, I was being served as usual, but I was little reluctant in accepting that food. So they begin to think, what is wrong with this, our son? Is something wrong with him? He's unusual, his activity is unusual. So after that week, we resumed back to the campus. And even my friends, they begin to see that there was some little differences in me. I don't associate with the way I used to associate before. So as time progressed, so things in my life was also progressing. Completely, my family come to be aware, this person had become a spiritualist. For 1 year, they were far from me. Even my friends in the school also, for one full semester, they were far from me. But every time I would go to the temple and explain my experience to them about my predicament, what is going on in my life, how people are reacting with me, and what is, a different situation. But one thing about the devotee in the temple, none of them will lament or sympathize with me. One thing they will say, Prabhu, you are very fortunate. You are very fortunate, Prabhu. Just keep chanting, just keep reading. So I was surprised, So this was a very inspiration for me, because whenever I go to the temple and narrate my situation about how things from the school side, from the family side, so what I hear, Prabhu, Kṛṣṇa is very merciful to you. You are very fortunate, so keep chanting. But so much suffering was there. So at one point, my family began to see that, wow, this son there is a lot of difference in him. The difference is not negative. The difference is actually positive also. From my school side also, the friends who have, for first year semester who has gone away, they also begin to say, this man, this friend is gradually, it has really reformed. So they saw so much positivity in me. So they were coming back from the school side, they were coming back from the family side, they were coming back. But it wasn't easy to actually to substantiate this experience. But one thing that I see so much, I feel so much value for, is that the process of devotional service which Srila Prabhupada has given to the world is very, very authentic. Very, very authentic. In the beginning, we might not have the first-hand experience of how authentic it is, but if there is intense and consistency in practice, we'll actually begin to see how realistic this process is. And there is something that Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the Purport, which again I will refer to. He said, that is also recommended, okay. That is also recommended here because by the practice of giving up the fruit of one's activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually. And in that purified stage of mind, one becomes able to understand Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Of course, Kṛṣṇa consciousness is not dependent on any other experience, because Kṛṣṇa consciousness itself can purify one's mind. But if there is an impediment to accepting Kṛṣṇa consciousness, one may try to give up the result of one's action. Yes, this is a fundamental question here. If Kṛṣṇa consciousness can actually give us Sudha Bhakti, can really give us Prem Bhakti, why do we have to go through all these different processes that Kṛṣṇa is explaining? Yes, Kṛṣṇa consciousness can give all the topmost goal. But there is a problem. The problem is that bodily identification, the pride of understanding the actual process of where we belong to. If there is bodily identification, understanding the whole essence of spiritual devotional practice is very, very difficult. Because this process of devotional service, which is established by Srila Prabhupada, is a process that transforms everyone who takes part in it. But as the transformation is going up, there is still some attachment or some identification in particular. We are bound to have the opposite side. I will give an example on this. In Kerala, there is a temple there that temple of Ayyappa. And this Ayyappa deity, it is said that it's like Shiva and Mohini together. So Ayyappa deity is the deity that with one hand he has a bowl and the other hand he has arrows. So this deity is very famous. So to go to this deity, one has to climb about 18 steps. So one time, one of the 18 slabs says, what is actually the difference between me and Ayyappa, the Lord? Every time thousands, hundreds and thousands of people climb up to me and give so much to Ayyappa. Ayyappa take everything. I'm always here, but people get to climb on top of me every time, only to give all the resources, everything to Ayyappa. So when Lord Ayyappa had this, he spoke with his love. He said, the process I have passed through, you have not passed through that process. When the sculptor was transforming me to this particular shape, you have not been transformed. The sculptor has carved me like this, carved me like this, carved me like this. That I have come to this stage. But you have not come to that process. You have not come to that process also. You just only need to be patient. So the process of devotional service, it warrants a lot of patience. But if the patience is not there, so this process that Kṛṣṇa is being given in this particular text, it's just for us to get transformed, so we can come to the particular level where we can really understand the importance of devotional service in our life. And one thing that we will take concern of is actually the process of bodily identification. And this bodily identification, without giving it up, is very difficult to actually understand the male essence of devotional service. And this bodily identification, it has been allied. Srila Prabhupada actually, emphasized a bit on it on the teaching of Kunti. In teaching of Kunti, Srila Prabhupada has given so much emphasis there, very long details of how this can be a stumbling block on our process of devotional service, if not given up. In there, Kunti mentioned 4 basic things. I will analyze these 4 basic things she mentioned. So this is coming from the teachings of Kunti, chapter 9. He said, my Lord, your lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exalted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. So these things are very, very important. And Srila Prabhupada highlights this point in his purport. The first one is high parentage. The second one is wealth. The third one is education. And the fourth one is attractive beauty. These 4 things, they are like intoxication. They're intoxicators that to the extent we forget the male essence of spiritual life. So it is important that we understand that it cannot help us to achieve the main target of devotional service. And we look at high parentage, good wealth, education, and attractive beauties. Why are they so intoxicant? I have seen someone, there is a person who is so attached to his family. This particular man was so attached to his family that he worshipped them like the way people worship deity. But one time in the place where he works, he was given some promotion. So somehow that thing ran after his head, and he got intoxicated. Somehow some people were able to, somehow or the other, brought this fellow to the house. So when the wife and the children went to meet him in that state, he could not recognize them at all. Instead, he was using different abusive words. So what is this thing? Intoxication. So all these things that Kunti have mentioned, they are very practical. Parentage, wealth, higher education, and so on and so forth. One of the things that we will take note of is that if this particular, limitation is part of us, to achieve the essence of devotional practice is very difficult. Why? Because these four things also are the things that attract, the constables of Yamaraj. I'm very sure that most of us, we don't want to be, victim of Yamaraj. Because Yamaraj have said, in Bhagavatam also, he has sent his constable, that these people, if they don't give up these things, or they don't use this particular four material development for the process of devotional service, bring them to me. And what did Yamaraj say? Hear what Yamaraj says over this. First of all, why is actually these four things so degrading if it's not being used for the process of devotional service? It's degrading because it's on mental platform. It's on mental platform, egoist platform, and bodily conceptions. And these three things are all, they regard to things that distract our attention from the process of devotional service. And for this reason, Yamaraj have requested to his Yamadutas, he said, my dear servant, please bring to me only those sinful persons who do not use their tongue to chant the whole name and the qualities of Kṛṣṇa, whose heart do not remember the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa, even once, and whose head do not bow down even once before Lord Kṛṣṇa. Send me those who do not perform their duty towards Vishnu, which are the only duty in human life. Please bring me all such fools and rascals. In the Purport, Srila Prabhupada mentioned, one who does not chant the holy name of Vishnu, Kṛṣṇa, who does not bow down to the deity of Vishnu, and who does not remember the lotus feet of Vishnu, is punishable by Yamaraj. In summary, all Vaishnava persons unconcerned with Lord Vishnu are punishable by Yamaraj. So, if these four things that Kunti Dev has mentioned are not being used for the service of Kṛṣṇa, indirectly they will attract the attention of Yamaraj. Because why is this four things dangerous? It's dangerous because when they are fluctuating in our life, we'll be unable to use our God-given body to serve or for the purpose of devotional service. And the tongue is to chant Krishna's name, and the head is to pay obeisance, as is mentioned here. So, and the heart is to always remember Kṛṣṇa, so on and so forth. So, but if these things are not being done for the pleasure of Kṛṣṇa, automatically we are, indirectly a victim of Yamaraj. Therefore, what to do? How do we, actually get more enlightenment, to be more involved in spiritual life? Is the holy name, which is given in chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, 322. It said, devotional service begins with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. It is the ultimate religious principle for the living entity in human society. Although it's very simple, but sometimes if the attention is not given to it, it's also very difficult. And what is that? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So the process, in summary, the process of devotional service is sufficient actually to purify us, to get Kṛṣṇa Prem. But if there is bodily identification, then there is a blockage. Just like if a creeper is growing and the creeper is not directed, then the creeper will not grow well. So the same thing applies. If you have those 4 things which Kunti Dev mentioned, definitely we may not be able to get the essence of devotional service. So Srila Prabhupada mentioned that even though there will be obstacles, but we still have to take shelter of this holy name, because this holy name, as is mentioned here, devotional service begins with chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this chanting of the holy name is the beginning and the end. We start with the chanting and we'll also end with the chanting. So let us take more advantage of this holy name and become more Kṛṣṇa conscious. Because all these processes that have been mentioned, they are all to draw our attention, closer, like we mentioned before. They are like, a process of intuition between, the student and the teacher. The intuition forum is supposed to build, the students so that they will be able to, fill in that gap that they have towards, their challenges in any of the subjects they are battling with. So this protest that is being given here, it's all meant to draw attention towards the real thing, which is Kṛṣṇa Bhakti. Hare Krishna. So we have some time before I summarize. I just want to find out if there is some comments and some questions like that. Any questions or comments? Any question? Any comments? Okay, so I want to summarize here. Kṛṣṇa is a place. There's a place Srila Prabhupada mentioned in his purport, which I really want to use as summary. It is also found that when one who is not even interested in the activity of Kṛṣṇa consciousness gives charity to some hospital or some other social institution, he gives up the hard-earned result of his activities. That is also recommended here because by the practice of giving up the fruit of one's activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually. So we don't have to give up anything. In summary, whatever we have, as Kunti Dev has mentioned, knowledge, wealth, education, parentage. We only just have to use those God-given talents in the process of devotion and service. And if we are being guided by the spiritual master or by the temple authority, we will achieve the best results. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. You have question? Okay.